Hi, my dear students. Welcome back to Plus 2 Biology. You know, biotechnology is one of the emerging branches in biology. As you have studied the first chapter, Principles and Processes in Biotechnology, it is easy for you to learn the applications of biotechnology. The biotechnology has great applications in almost all fields of biology. Still, we are focusing on its applications in agriculture and medicine. So, in your textbook, we have to discuss what are the major applications of biotechnology in agriculture, especially in the form of GM crops. And in medicine, we focus on to the therapeutics production using biotechnology, gene therapy, and disease diagnosis. And also we have a short mention about the transgenic animals. So let us move to the biotechnology, its applications. Okay? So we shall begin with applications of biotechnology in agriculture. Okay? When we discuss the history of agriculture, we can say when men started settling a place, from its nomadic life, when he started settling a place, immediately he started agriculture. But during course of time, he could understand varieties can be produced only through sexual reproduction. So this is a great discovery that sexual reproduction brings variation. So keeping this in mind, you can very easily understand how hybridization brings new varieties. In hybridization, we are purposefully crossing plants. So our agriculture based on hybridization, the introduction of new hybrids became a very success and it led to green revolution in 1960s. Okay, the major reason for green revolution in 1960s was the introduction of hybrid plants from other countries to India. More than that, the production of hybrids led to the green revolution in 1960s. You know the fact. Okay, and we are not focusing on the hybrids today. And you know, along with this usage of hybrids, when we use the hybrids in our field, we have to give maximum better facilities for the hybrids to grow. Okay, best management practices, irrigation, other practices. And also we should provide fertilizers and other chemicals. We call agrochemicals. The agrochemicals include, as a note, include fertilizers, insecticides, fungicides, bactericides. Okay, like this, the usage of agrochemicals come side by side of this green revolution. Then only it will lead to what? Higher yield. So, in order to, you know this all chemicals are harming the environment. Okay, you know the issues with endosulfan, DDT like cases. So, see the green revolution, our agriculture was greatly dependent on agrochemicals. So, we can just discuss the biotechnology, the rDNA technology as a solution for reducing the usage of agrochemicals. Okay, our genetically modified plants, if we are making plants with full insect resistant, fungi resistant, bacteria resistant plants, if you make, we will not supply or we will not spray these chemicals to the plants. You know that. Okay, similarly, the plants with good nutritional content, if we are preparing by rDNA technology, we need not apply much fertilizers to the land. Okay, there are so many sites like that. Anyway, these GM crops are facing so many issues also. We will move on to that. Come to the first topic, biotechnology in agriculture as GM crops. Can you give example for GM crops? What do you mean by a GM crop? A genetically modified crop means We have altered, we have manipulated its gene. Okay, it is nothing but a transgenic plant which shows the expression of a foreign gene. Okay, so in genetic modification or genetically modified crops, we are doing the manipulation or genetic modification for whatever purposes. That's what we are going to discuss. Anyway, we can define GM crops as a genetically modified crop which is a transgenic plant in which the gene has undergone manipulation. We have altered its gene for our betterment. Okay? We are producing GM crops for various purposes. And the major aims of producing genetically modified crops or GMCs. The major aims of producing GM crops include, first one, to produce plants with stress tolerance. You know, in our country, there are various climatic regions. Okay, people face difficulty to cultivate in all such areas. If we are able to produce stress tolerant plants which can tolerate drought, some of them can tolerate drought, salinity, flood conditions, then we can improve our yield. Okay, so first important aim of production of GM crops is to develop stress tolerance in plants. Second most important aim is to develop pest resistant plants. You know, pests attack, insects and pests attack almost all crops. So we should protect them from the pest. So if we are able to produce GM crops pest resistant, sure, it's a benefit. So developing pest resistance in plants is the second aim. Here it comes drought, salinity like factors. Okay, you know that. Then another important aim of production of GM crops is to improve nutritional quality. To improve nutritional quality of the crop. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? See, you know our cereals, we are mainly dependent on cereals, rice, wheat, etc. for our food. If the cereals can supplement protein, we do not depend on meat and other eggs like. Okay, if the cereals can supplement us some more vitamins, it's good because our main food is that cereals, rice, wheat, etc. So, supplement a major crop with other nutrients is the main aim of production of GM crops. So, this way we have produced vitamin A enriched rice. As an example, okay, we have already produced vitamin A enriched rice. Okay, the next major aim of producing GM crops is to increase the mineral uptake. To increase the mineral uptake efficiency of the plant. See, even though the nutrients are available in the soil, most of the plants fail to absorb it to the maximum extent. So that we have studied mycorrhizas, increasing the surface area and helping the plant to absorb phosphorus. Likewise, genes, if we introduce to plants, just understand the plants can absorb maximum nutrients. So this is another aim of biotechnology, production of GM crops in order to improve the mineral uptake efficiency of plants. Okay, and it also aims, GM crops production also aims to reduce the post-harvest losses. To reduce the post-harvest losses from the crops. See, a majority of cereals, we have the edible part very small and the other portion is very in high quantity. And this all will be wasted after harvesting. Okay, and what we get as edible part will be very less. By the genetic engineering technique, by introducing genes, if we can improve that, the quantity of the edible portion. Okay, and otherwise to reduce the size of the plant and so that the other areas are less. This is an advantage. Likewise, GM crops are also made to reduce the post-harvest losses. These are the major areas to produce GM crops. In order to develop stress-resistant plants, in order to develop pest-resistant plants, then to improve the nutritional quality of plants and also to increase the mineral uptake from the soil and also to reduce the post-harvest losses, we are producing GM crops mainly. Okay? Among this topic, in detail, you need to study how to develop pest resistance in plants. By genetic engineering technique, how is pest resistance developed in plants? Okay? Pest resistance is developed in plants mainly by two techniques. You have seen, one is by introducing Bt gene and other one is by RNAi technique, RNA interference technique. Simply mean, by genetic engineering technique, pest resistance in plants is developed by two major approaches. The first approach is by introducing Bt gene to major crops. The second approach is by a technique by genetic engineering, RNA silencing or RNA interference is introduced to plants. Okay, let us move on to the first case. We have to discuss both the cases in detail. Then the first case, what is Bt gene? Okay, then the Bt is expanded as Bacillus thuringiensis. It is expanded as Bacillus thuringiensis. What is it? What is a bacillus? Bacillus thuringiensis is a bacterium. What is special about this bacterium and what is special about that Bt gene? So remember, we are discussing pest resistance. So tell me, what is special about this bacterium? Yeah. Have you heard Bt brinjal in newspapers? It was an issue. Bt, brinjal, cotton, these are plants. What was the issue related to that? Anyway, you can just understand Bacillus thuringiensis is a bacterium. Okay, this bacterium consists of a gene, Bt gene. We can call it as Bt gene. Okay, and this gene, when expressed in bacterium, it is forming an insecticidal protein. On expression, this is forming an insecticidal protein. Okay, understand? Bacillus thuringiensis bacterium consists of a gene, Bt gene, and this gene on expression within the bacterium will produce an insecticidal protein. And this protein is crystal protein. We can write it as crystal protein. And this protein can kill insects. That means, if insects consume the bacteria, they might be killed because of the crystal protein. Okay, if that crystal protein is produced, it can kill the insects. This is a great knowledge. Using this protein, we can control the insects which attack crops. Okay, then keep in mind, this particular protein is a crystal protein. So the name of the gene is given as crygene. Okay, the gene is named as crygene. Okay, then understand, scientists taking this knowledge, scientists have taken this gene and introduced to our major crops. Keep in mind, this gene, when it is taken to our major crops, the crops get what? Pest resistant, insect resistance due to the insecticidal protein. Okay, the bacterium actually does not require this gene, but if this gene is taken and introduced to our major crops, the crops can be protected from the insects. Okay, so it was found that this crystal protein selectively attacks or it's harmful to important group of insects like Lepidopterans, Coleopterans and Dipterans. Okay, these three major group of insects can be killed by this particular crystal protein. Okay, so this is highly specific in action and it can kill only the members of Lepidopterans, Coleopterans and Dipterans. So the major flies which affect our crops. Whereas it never harms human being or any other animal or any other plant. It is never harmful to the plant if it is expressed in plant. It is never harmful to the bacteria which carry this, and it is never harmful to human also. It's a selective, it is highly specific in its action. Okay, and this insecticidal protein can kill only lepidopterans, coleopterans and dipterans. The lepidopterans include tobacco budworm and armyworm. Okay, the lepidopterans, examples for lepidopterans include tobacco budworm, armyworm, and the coleopterans include beetles, mainly which attack our crops, small beetles. Then dipterans include mosquitoes and flies. So keep in mind, the Bt gene in the bacterium, it is never harmful to its body, and it is secreted as a protoxin in its body. And when an insect belonging to this group, any of this group, lepidopterans, coleopterans, dipterans, the insects include tobacco budworm, armyworm, beetles, mosquitoes, flies. In the bacterium, this is produced as protoxin. Okay. It is never harming the bacterium. But in the alimentary canal of any of these insects, in the gut pH, alkaline pH, okay, when it consumes this toxin, protoxin, in the alkaline pH, this is converted to the toxin. Okay, and this toxin will break the gut wall, make pores on the gut wall, so that it is causing the lysis of the alimentary canal and death of the insect. Okay, keep in mind, the crystal protein is actually the gene belongs to the bacterium, and the bacterium is producing, expressing this gene and producing only a protoxin, not the crystal protein as such. It is producing a protoxin, and it is never harming the bacterium. And if a particular, this typical insect which belong to lepidopteran, coleopteran, dipteran, if this group insect consume this, the bacterium or this protoxin, okay, then this toxin will be activated to, protoxin will be activated to toxin in the alimentary canal pH, alkaline pH of the insect. Okay, within the alimentary canal of the insect, protoxin is activated to toxin. So this toxin will break the alimentary canal wall. It creates pores, so that it causes the lysis of the insect and its death. So it's completely destroying the insect. So this gene, Cry gene, is by genetic engineering, it is introduced to our major crops. So what we can do? We can protect the plants from insects attack. This group of insects cannot attack the plant. If the plant expresses that gene, the plant produces the insecticidal protein. Okay, it is in the protoxin form. It never harms the plant or any other organism. But when the insects come and attack it, insects get this protoxin, and this is activated to toxin in the intestine of the insect, and the insect is getting destroyed. Okay, this is a fact. So that is about the transgenesis of Bt gene. Likewise, we have prepared number of plants. Okay, Bt brinjal, Bt cotton, Bt rice, Bt corn. Okay, Bt potato, tomato. Likewise, so many plants are produced by this technique. So, tell me, what's the name of the Bt gene? It's named as Cry gene, C-R-Y gene, based on that crystal protein. And the most commonly used genes of the Cry genes variables are Cry1AB, Cry2AB and Cry1AC. You have to study this. Cry1AB is specifically controlling corn borer. Cry1AB gene, it was introduced to crops. It protects plants from corn borer. Whereas Cry2AB and Cry1AC are specific to cotton bollworm. Okay, so specificity is there. You have to study the name of the genes. Cry1AB, Cry2AB and Cry1AC. This specifically attack cotton bollworm and this one attack corn borer. Okay, then just familiarize, we have produced number of plants, BT plants like this. BT cotton and BT brinjal is more popular. Then BT rice, BT corn, BT potato, BT tomato, BT soybean like that. What do you mean by this? BT plant, BT corn, BT potato, what do you mean by these all things? These plants are with BT gene, cry gene. Okay, these plants carry the gene, its expression is producing the protoxin in the body and it is insect resistant. These plants are insect resistant. Okay, so we can protect the crop from the attack of insects and we can have the maximum yield by introducing BT gene. Okay, it has a lot many other sides and lot many issues why these GM crops are becoming weeds in nature. Okay, then so this is about the first topic, the application of biotechnology in agriculture in the production of GM crops, how to produce pest resistance in plants using BT gene. The second thing, how to produce pest resistance in plants using RNAi technique. We will discuss in our next class. Okay? Thank you.